welcome back for segment 2 of our Feed the Fish video, brought to you by Riley and Kevin Wilson Productions. So again, we're going to open up the tank. We'll take the trusty piece of styrofoam, which is sitting right there on the table next to the tank, and we're going to prop open the other side to get ready for feeding. So I like to push the light back at an angle like that, so that some of the light is in towards the front and some towards the back when I'm in there feeding them. So next thing is to prop it open just on this side, and then I'm going to we're going to use a scoop worms up in this turkey baster, which will be sitting right over on the same table over there. It'll be sitting like right here. Scoop up some worms and come in here, and you just drop that in and feed them, and they'll be more than ready. So we're going to go in first. We're going to wash the worms, and then we're gonna bring them. So let's bring our turkey baster in the basement. Go get the worms. I just set this down right here usually, just until I'm ready. The worms are in the fridge. They're in a Tupperware container. As you can see, there's worms and some leeches in there. I try not to let the big leeches in the tank. If they're little ones, I don't mind scooping them up. The fish will eat them. I don't know what happens if the big leeches get in there, but I don't really want to find out. So we'll just go over to the sink over here. If you have to wash them about every other day. If you don't wash them every other day, they start to stink and they'll die. So all I do is, you only need about half inch to an inch of water in there. So I just wait a couple seconds. It doesn't take long. You can see that they're settling. They'll settle down, then I can just pour the water off, and if the leeches go out, I don't care if they go down the sink or not. They'll just wind up in the toilet upstairs and stick to Riley and Janet's butt.
Oh, that's fun.
But no, they don't. I'm just kidding. Everybody knows they go down the drain. So then all I do is I just pour off some of the water, all of the water actually, as much as I can. And you can see that I try not to let any worms out. I don't care if the leeches go out, but if the worms start to go out, I just back off for a second and let them float down to the bottom. Maybe shake it a little bit.
The leeches are the white ones, right?
Yes.
Ooh.
But I don't want to lose too many worms. I've got a couple worms that are not settling in with the others. Usually they kind of all stick together, and that's what we want them to do. For some reason they're being adventurous today. So it usually only takes about a minute. So there's another one that decided to float up. All I did was stir them up. Alright, we're just going to wait a second. Usually it doesn't take this long. Maybe they're trying to escape the leeches. The leeches actually eat the worms. It looks like we're going to lose one worm. I'm just too impatient, so I just pour the water out. And if the worms start coming up, I usually back off a little bit. Here, and then just rinse them off and real quick, a little bit like that. Do the same thing. Let them settle. Pour it off, and then I fill it up. So I empty the water that was in there, and then I wash them, pour that water off, pour the water that was in there off, wash them, pour that water off, and then fill it. And we're going to empty this out. Looks like we're going to lose a leech. That's okay. They can go down the drain. I do not care. All right, they're staying a lot more bunched up this time, so that's good. We'll be able to pour most of this water off. Okay, now I'm just going to put water back in. That's about all you need right there. As you can see, it's only about a ½ inch. The worms, some of the worms will try to climb out, and they tend to generally dry up and die. And then all I do is put them back in the fridge. Just be careful because this opens the wrong way, unfortunately. I just put them back in the fridge. So the second night, I don't wash them the second night. I wait till 2 days. So then you just take the turkey baster, squeeze it, and then scoop up as many worms as you can with one thing. And that's usually enough worms to feed them. If they're all bunched up and together, you just use the turkey baster to spread them out. And they'll bunch up pretty quick. But I'm just gonna scoop up a bunch of worms. And that's about how much you get. So that'll be one night's feeding. And I hold them upside down like that so they don't spill. Just be careful that this thing is attached. And we're going to go in and feed them. The reason I use a turkey baster and don't just dump the worms in is because I want to make sure the darters get enough food. The minnows will get plenty. They're pigs. The darters are too, as you'll see. So Riley's going to shoot. All I do is just pour them in, let a little bit of water out first. And then I just lower it down. I like to come down right over these rocks, move around, let a few of them out. The worms will start to settle. So like this lower batch, I usually squirt a few around. So some of the, looks like there's some dead ones in there. So let some of the fish that are a little more shy get some. So we'll pour some of that water out. There we go. Now the rest, I just let the fish come up and get them. Just push a little bit out, just enough to let a few hang out and let the darters pick them off. That's a green side darter right there. The ones with the blue cheeks and a little bit of red on the fins and greenish hue. That's a long-nosed dace right there. The colorful reddish darters are rainbow darters. They're male rainbow darters. There's a female rainbow darter in there too. She'll come out in a little bit. This guy back here, if they're a little shy, just go back and that's a fantail darter, the ones with the stripes and the spots on the tail. There's the female rainbow darter right over there. You can see she doesn't have any red and blue. She's right there, kind of a golden color. That's a black-nosed dace. The rounded nose minnows with the kind of bluish-gray nose, those are called blunt-nosed minnows. And then this minnow over here, and there's one in the back that he likes. When I feed him worms, he likes to hide back there for some reason. He's the biggest minnow in the tank. There's 4 of those, and there's one swimming around right here. Those are spot fin shiners. They're cool fish. Just that one in the back is kind of weird. I don't know why he hangs out back there. So I just do this until they pick them all. After a while, if it seems like they're full, I just squirt the rest of them out around, let them go around the tank. And they'll hunt for them later. This minnow right here, that's called a silver jaw minnow. Right here, this guy. He's a pretty cool fish. That's a satin fin shiner right there. That's a blunt nose minnow, this guy. See the blue nose? Or the grayish nose? The green side darters are pigs. They'll take a mouthful of 4 or 5 at a time. These guys, the fantail like that, they're a little more shy. There's a few of them in the tank. That rainbow darter right there is pretty shy. So I usually squirt some down his way. See if he can feed on a few. Yeah, he got one. Good. He doesn't eat as much as the other darters, so I worry about him. It's pretty funny. Sometimes you'll see the darters will get so many worms and they'll suck them in their mouth, and you'll actually see the worms come out of their gills sometimes. It's pretty funny.
That's the equivalent of snorting milk out of your nose, isn't it?
Yeah. Snorting worms out of your nose.
Ugh.
I fed them pretty heavily last night. It looks like they're kind of full. So I'm not going to feed them all these worms tonight. I'll save them for you guys. So I'm going to squirt a few in there. Let the female get her share. There's the female rainbow darter. Come on. Yeah, she's pretty fat. Maybe she's going to have lay eggs.
It's inappropriate. She could just be hefty.
They're usually much more aggressive. Tonight they're a little finicky. Maybe because the light's on, I don't know.
So you usually do this in the dark?
Yeah. I don't want the fish to really see me. It doesn't really matter though. They're not shy. After all, when I was cleaning the tank, they bite the hairs on my arm. So that's a spot fin shiner right there that just came up to eat. There's a big male back there. Let's squirt some back his way, see if any go back and he gets a few. Okay. All right, I'm going to put the rest of these worms back in the container so there's enough to... Well, that's basically it. After that, I just shut the tank like this and move the light in this position here, and then put the turkey baster back down for tomorrow. And that's all there is to it. Thank you for watching. Come back again next time.